So have you ever had the experience of, in the past, you were always the one to be the organizer, get everybody together, plan everything out, and you just kind of got tired? And so then you ask, well, why don't you guys put some things together? Why don't you guys figure it out? And I'll just show up. And you do, and you hate it. What do you do? What do you do when you didn't have a say in that color? Why'd you choose that color? Or you didn't have a say in that font, using that photo. Ew, why'd you use that? What, you didn't have a say in who was invited. Why'd you invite them? Ew, I wouldn't have done that, But you gave away your responsibility to be the decision maker because you got tired. What do? When that times a few years has been going on and you're at the point where you don't even know anymore. You don't even really know what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. What do you do when you've kind of lost your compass, giving away that responsibility bit by bit by bit over time? It's time for you to find your true north, and that's what we're going to be talking about this week, this day in particular. I'm Sensei Victoria Whitfield from strategicmeditation.com, where I help impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders like you make sure that you are getting and staying grounded and clear in mind, body, and business. This is your business energy flow forecast from my mansion here in Plainfield, where I see you in person when you come for your next session. And this is all about making sure that you and I on a weekly basis increase your energy so that you can increase your income and impact as an extension of it, because your energy is everything, especially in business. With that, the topic of today's forecast, I'm kind of like your energy weather lady, right? Shout out to me, 14 years of doing this. Yay. The topic is about finding your true north. A few episodes back, like a while back, one of the scientific articles brought up this issue in AI technology called post-truth politics. And what post-truth politics essentially means is that what if there's more than one truth out there, because every individual person has their own version of what's true and what's most important for them. So how do we negotiate that? That's the politics aspect of it. How do we determine what's important when everybody else has their own unique idea of what's important? This is what today's episode is going to be about, especially if you're feeling kind of lost in the sauce. These last few episodes we've been talking about how your energy has changed, your emotions have changed, and you found the courage to change course. And what are you going to do now that you have changed your course of your business, of your love life, of your health, your medical, right? You shifted how you're approaching your goal getting from the original stance. And what's super important as we continue to make our way forward is to understand, where's our true north as an individual? Where's your true north for you? Where's my true north for me? And to understand those two things may not be exactly the same, and that is a-okay. And if anybody is telling you otherwise, that your connection to your truth and your true north is invalid because it's not theirs, then they are out of line, right? We need to make sure that we respect and set our own boundaries as individuals, psychically, psychologically, philosophically, and spiritually. And we need to perceive that we have our own values as individuals in the first place, rather than just turning into parrots of people in the screen, or parrots of people on the podcast, or parrots of are authority figures in our lives. Be kind to yourself if you kind of lost your point of view along the way, and especially as like a soulful, passionate, emotional, and even artistic person, right? In the past, perhaps, you had a very clear, defined point of view. You were pumping out your art, whether it was like painting or sculpture or writing or music or whatever it was. You were so evocative before in the past, so clear before in the past, but as you got older, you look around and wonder what the heck happened, right? Who am I? Where did I go? That's what is at stake, that feeling, that loss of soul that we get when we lose our art, our own point of view, our own beautiful, crisp, clear, unique, precious perspective. And that remains intact when we know our true north. It's as if you have a compass on the inside of you and it's pointed always in the right direction. And whenever I go to speak publicly, by the way, shout out if you want me to come and speak at your organization online or in person, just send me a note, team@victoriawhitfield.com. Happy to talk bookings there. But whenever I do speaking engagements, I do this really powerful exercise with the audience, and I invite you to do it with me right now, where you can close your eyes and intuitively, don't think about it, intuitively point to where your truth, your intuition comes from in your body, right? Point to it. Is it a certain area of your body? For some people, they point to their gut. For some people, they point to their heart. For some people, they point to the sky or to their head. Everybody's different. Some people point to their feet or their pelvic floor, but point to where your truth, your conviction, your emotion, your intuition comes from. Point to it with strength, with your eyes closed, feel it, and don't look at me or anyone else while you're doing this. It's important that you do it with your eyes closed, right? Because there's no correct answer other than yours. Take a deep breath in, and then, without looking at anything, keeping your eyes closed as you're pointing with strength and conviction to your intuition, to your truth, wherever it is in your body, where it comes from. Now point to north and feel the strength of your body. Don't doubt, just point to north. Wherever your body says where north is, start pointing in that direction. Point with certainty. If I feel in my body that I am pointing to north, point to where your truth comes from with one hand, and then with the other hand, point to north, wherever you are in the world. Doesn't matter. Point to north. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, allow your eyes to open. What you're going to notice is how you felt during that exercise. What matters most is how you feel. That was you feeling certain. That was you coming into alignment with your intuition. It doesn't matter where north currently, according to the magnetic poles, is in relationship to where you are. No. You were in alignment with your truth. You have conviction. You have an intuition. You have intuitive wisdom on the inside. And it's important for you to know that you have that uniquely, because now more than ever, we as individuals, but especially as entrepreneurs and leaders, we are so distracted by other people telling us what's supposed to be true, what's supposed to be important, what's supposed to be north for you. Like I can tell you, or like they can tell me, or they can tell you where north is for you. We've got to sift through all of that noise and distraction to come to our own truth. For me, I always tend to point to my belly, to my solar plexus, Everyone's is different. Whenever I speak publicly, I have people open their eyes. I'll have a room, like I have 150, 300 people, and everyone's like pointing everywhere, and the people are like, what? Like, it's so confused, right? It's so powerful to see that in a group. But that's the point, is for you to connect with you. And so we're going to now turn to history, science, and spirit to help us understand exactly how to recalibrate our inner compass and help us cultivate a really abiding and ongoing relationship with continual assurance, right? As we learned about from the article on bidirectional trust from the Navy a few episodes back. We want continual assurance. We want to develop a relationship of continual assurance with our inner compass, right? To find our unique true north. With that, let's go, as always, Think and Grow Rich for history by Napoleon Hill, the classic. This is from the chapter on the subconscious mind. It's chapter 12 in my copy. And let me read to you this selection. I'm going to listen for how to cultivate a relationship with true north, as well as how to assess that your compass is off. Like it is not calibrated. You are preparing yourself to influence and control the inner audience of your subconscious mind in order to hand over to it the desire for money. This is Think and Grow Rich, people, which you wish transmuted into its monetary equivalent. It is essential, therefore, that you understand the method of approach to this inner audience. You must speak its language, or it will not heed your call. It understands the best language of emotion or feeling. Let us therefore describe here the 7 major positive emotions and the 7 major negative emotions, so that you may draw upon the positives and avoid the negatives when giving instructions to your subconscious mind. Pause. If you want to influence yourself, he's talking about how you influence an audience. Shout out to everyone who's marketing, because this is also the foundation of really powerful marketing copy and advertising copywriting, is understanding what emotions to like connect to help influence buyer and lead behavior, right? Or if you're a speaker, what emotions to make sure you include in your speech to make sure that you are impactful, and so that people walk away repeating what you said. That's always my favorite thing. Whenever I do public speaking, I knew I hit it when people go around and they're repeating what I said as if it was their idea. Go right ahead. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills, and everywhere. Yeah, do it. Right? That's how you know you hit it. And so keep that in mind. These are the emotions of influence. And when we're talking specifically about your inner compass, the positive emotions, if you are actively engaging with those, you are calibrating your compass. If you're radiating, you're feeling these positive emotions, your compass is calibrated to your true north. If you are really deep into the negative emotions, especially if you think about a certain team member or a person, if you think about a certain project or an aspect of yourself, you're really engaging in the negative emotions. This is to show your compass is off. If anything, it's set to south. And I don't mean that in a good way. It's going to take you into more negative results rather than positive results. So let's do a self-assessment. The 7 major positive emotions: the emotion of desire, the emotion of faith, the emotion of love, the emotion of sex, the emotion of enthusiasm, the emotion of romance, the emotion of hope. These are the 7 that we really want to shoot for and feel, as well as evoke in others. There are other positive emotions, but these are the 7 most powerful and the ones most commonly used in creative effort. Master these 7 emotions They can be mastered only by use, and the other positive emotions will be at your command when you need them. Remember, in this connection that you are studying a book that is intended to help you develop a money consciousness by filling your mind with positive emotions. The 7 major negative emotions to be avoided: the emotion of fear, the emotion of jealousy, the emotion of hatred, the emotion of revenge, the emotion of greed, the emotion of superstition, the emotion of anger. Positive and negative emotions cannot occupy the mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. It is your responsibility. My spirit guides keep cutting me off, so I'm just going to stop right here for a second. What they're cutting me off to say is that when you engage in the positive emotions, you are in your power. You are empowered. You are in your creator essence. You are in control. You are actively creating. When you are in these negative emotions that Napoleon Hill listed, you are vulnerable to being manipulated. You are easily molded and manipulated when you're feeling these negative emotions. Like, they put you at risk of being manipulated and directed and controlled. So either you want to be the controller and in control, or you're being controlled. Positive versus negative emotions. One or the other must dominate. It is your responsibility to make sure that positive emotions constitute the dominating influence of your mind. Here, the law of habit will come to your aid. Form the habit of applying and using the positive emotions. My spirit guides are telling me to stop again. Especially in negative situations. If you find you can't stand someone, or you can't stand doing something, or you can't stand something about yourself, that means you are weakened, vulnerable, and under the control of something outside of you. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with being controlled or enslaved by something outside of you? What you need to do is actively apply the positive emotions in that area where you can't stand it. How can I change myself to feeling like I'm in desire? How can I change myself to being in a state of faith? How can I change myself into feeling love? How can I change myself to think more about sex? How can I change myself into feeling more enthusiastic? How can I change myself to feeling more romantic? How can I change myself to feeling more hopeful instead of feeling fearful, feeling jealous, feeling hatred, feeling revengeful, feeling greedy, feeling superstitious, and feeling angry? Right? What matters most is how you feel, and you have the ability to choose how you feel. It's your responsibility. How you feel is your responsibility. You can't blame anybody else. Well, look at this. Out of all 5 fingers, when you blame, 3 are pointing back to you, 1 is pointing to them, and the other is to Creator. So this is like 60% of the onus is on you, 20% is theirs, and then 20% is left up to whatever Creator decides for us, right? Left up to the fates. We're left up to God. And so you need to own it. Own how you feel. If you can't stand somebody or you can't stand doing something, change how you feel, right? Go have an orgasm, or go romanticize it, or go connect to faith or hope, or find love in your heart. Find something to love. Otherwise, you are at risk of being manipulated. Unpause. Eventually, they will dominate your mind, positive emotions, so completely that the negatives cannot enter it. Only by following these instructions literally and continuously can you gain control over your subconscious mind. The presence of a single negative in your conscious mind is sufficient to destroy all chances to destroy all chances of constructive aid from your subconscious mind. Tying this back to finding your true north. If you want to practice psychic self-defense, so this is the defense of your psyche, your right to protect your well-being and peace of mind. If you want to actively get your reps in practicing psychic self-defense, write those 7 positive emotions down and put a big fat "how can I be" at the top. How can I be romantic, enthusiastic, loving, blah, 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 blah. All 7 of those, right? Get yourself a copy of Think and Grow Rich. You're really, what were the 7, Victoria? Either rewind or go buy the book, right? How can I be 1 through 7 and get your reps in every day generating those feelings, because that's your responsibility. The same way that it's your responsibility to wipe your butt at the end of the day, you got to take care of your own emotional hygiene as well. With that, let's now go over to science. What does science have to say? Going back to AI technology to help us understand, well, how do we find our unique true north? Like, how do I identify my true north in the era of post-truth politics? Especially the era of AI has brought us into post-truth politics, because that came from an article earlier, like a ton of episodes back earlier this year, where we were looking at how AI doesn't have to tell you what's right. It just tells you what it has. If you ask ChatGPT for information, it's going to give you the information. It doesn't mean it's going to give you the correct information. It's on you to fact check that. That's how AI works. It just aggregates information. It doesn't necessarily have to verify that it's right. That's why I've been reading more articles that this is like a big issue in the AI community. They're like, who's checking the veracity, the truth of what's being said? Well, to that end, there's an emerging movement in the AI field called human in the loop, which is basically, all right, we have the automations of AI, artificial intelligence, running, looping over and over and over again, getting information, getting information, and then the human comes to say, wait a minute, is that correct? Wait a minute, is that even relevant to what we're talking about? Where the human jumps into the automation to do quality control. And this article is along that vein. It's from MIT. From their, they have a college newspaper called the HDSR. And this is by Xiaoli Meng, April 27th, 2023. Data Science and Engineering with Human in the Loop, Behind the Loop, and Above the Loop. So Xiaoli Meng's like, we need all the fact checking because this is a mess. Right? Let's get to it. I will. My spirit guides are telling me to say, listen for how important it is to know what's important. I know that sounds redundant, but only you know how to feel. Only you can feel how you feel, which also means only you can tell what's important to you. It is of primary, essential, I don't know how else to say it without saying important. It's very important that you have the ability to perceive how you feel, because your feelings indicate what's important and not important to you. And we're going to see with what Xiaoli Meng is saying is that without humans in the loop, we don't know what's important. The term human in the loop generally refers to the need for human interaction, intervention, and judgment to control or change the outcome of a process. And it is a practice that is being increasingly emphasized in machine learning, generative AI, and the like. For readers who have not enjoyed machine-assisted learning or who are comfortable with their human intelligence, it would not surprise me if some of you would wonder upon hearing the term human in the loop, wait, when did we take humans out of the loop? The diversity of human minds guarantees that such a question would generate reactions ranging from being inspired to being despised. Regardless, however, the arrival of ChatGPT and other AI chatbots has made the mostly academic debate of machine intelligence versus human intelligence into a household conversation piece. It is therefore an apt time to turn such a rhetorical question into retrospection and reflection. With my human thinking in the loop, Xiaoli Meng says, I probably can take any issue of HDSR to remind ourselves of the roles we humans play in the data science ecosystem. Indeed, as I wrote in the inaugural editorial titled Data Science and Artificial Ecosystem, the term artificial highlights both the fact that data science is a human construct and that it depends critically on computing advances. The same can and should be said about data engineering, which can advance faster than data science, as we witnessed recently with the progression from GPT to GPT-1 to 4 and forward. However, the current issue is particularly fitting for this contemplation because it is the first HDSR issue that we are making with a special theme dedicated to a beautiful mind that came with a beautiful heart. I want to underline that, by the way. Well, I did. Shout out to me. Been doing all the underlining. Where does your truth come from? It comes from your beautiful mind and your beautiful heart. Where does your concept of beauty, of importance, of excitement, of wrong, and all this, it's in the eye of the beholder, right? It's a very human thing to determine what's important. Unpause. A beautiful mind that came with a beautiful heart, a term that is yet to be applied to any machine. As such, I ask for readers' indulgence and my fellow data scientists' forgiveness for creating sibling rivalries into human in the loop. Human in the loop from developers to deployers. As cliche as this may sound, humans are always in the loop for advancing data science or engineering at all fronts, literally and figuratively. Indeed, for those who don't mind the label of anthropocentrist, the paraphrasing of data science and data engineering are of the people, by the people, and for the people might be a more arousing title for this editorial. Data are typically digital representations of some people's mental activities or physical endeavors, and they are collected because some other people see the benefit of doing so. Pause. Data comes from people. Science comes from people. Human in the loop is, humans are always in the loop, is what Xiaoli Meng is saying here. And we need humans always in the loop. Unpause. The benefits can be for the data subjects, the data collectors, or other people, which often include those yet to be born. To realize and optimize the benefit, yet more groups of people would be required for developing methods, implementing algorithms, interpreting and deploying the results, and so on, in order to reap perceived benefits. Pause. Where do perceived benefits come from? People. You are the one who decides whether something is beneficial or not. Unpause. Wait, no, repause. How many times have you been told this is beneficial or this is for your good? What about how you feel? As we're in recovery as people pleasers, you and I, we need to stop and think, like, what do I feel? What do I think about this? This is very important. Unpause. For the Recreations and Randomness column, Kavya Mehul Shah and Amar Ahmed Saeed's account on, quote, innovating a centuries-old sport, how emerging data analytics tools are redefining cricket, end quote, provides a concrete illustration of such human effort. For example, cricket highlights, the sport cricket, are short video clips that are collected because they can benefit players, coaches, and organizations, okay? Traditionally, the creation of these highlights requires sports broadcasters and video editors to manually parse through hours of footage to identify exciting moments. Clearly not a very exciting process, to say the least. Automated highlights generation is then a very welcome advance that requires both data science, such as semantic segmentation to identify exciting moments, and data engineering, such as effective software for routine applications, right? Much progress has been made in the last 20 years as reviewed in the article, yet the 2 decades of progress also indicate the amount of human effort required to automate the creation process, not to mention human effort needed in translating highlights into the desired benefit. Tying this back to finding your true north. If human effort is required for automated effort in order to get the desired outcome, that means human perception matters. We can't just go off of what the algorithm says. We can't just go off what the data says. We can't just go off what these polls, these analytics say, these books, these commentators say. You can't go off of all of this information. How do you figure out what's relevant? You expose yourself, sure, to the information, but then you've got to make it relevant to you. You need to be the human in the loop. Quality control of, okay, step back. I've heard all of what you have to say. How do I feel? That's called reflecting. That's why journaling is awesome. And journaling is not, dear diary, this is what I did today, blah, 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 and end. No, this is, when you journal, you want to write, sure, what you did or what happened, but then you want to say, and this is what I think about that. This is what I feel about that. This is how that made me feel. And this is how I think about how I feel about what happened. Reflection. It's like holding up a mirror and becoming self-aware. And this is the hardest part now, especially in the age of social media, right? And algorithms telling you, recommending to you what's important, or ads, right? And ad campaigns telling you what you should pay attention to, or news outlets, or people, or pastors, and all, or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your grandma, your kids telling you watch TikTok and all these things, telling you what you should be paying attention to, how you should be feeling, who you should be, when none of that has anything to do with illustrating how you feel. Hold up the mirror. Your true north is in the mirror of your feelings, is what this article is getting at. You've got to be the human in the loop. Don't expect everyone to just hand you on a silver platter your life. That's not how this works. And that's why you may feel disconnected to your inner truth, is because maybe, like we began the video, you've been relying on other people to hand you your life or hand you results. And maybe because you got tired along the line, but now is the time for a change. Let's go to Spirit. On that, the card of the week just leapt out of the book, 6 of Earth. Today's card: gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan, or paying off debts. So this is the 6 of Pentacles. So it could be about money, but it's like resources of time, money, energy, relationships, gifts of space. So this is, number 6 has to do with progress, an expansion of resources. And it's right side up. What you need to watch out for today and this week ahead in particular, as this is your forecast, is that when you connect to your true north, your feelings, you're going to see an expansion of abundance in your life. An expansion of abundance of time, money, energy, space, and relationships, when you connect to what's important to you, when you reflect, when you hold up the mirror to yourself and take a look at your life and what's meaningful to you, all of a sudden you're going to realize just how abundant you are and how things are actually progressing and getting better and better, right? But you've got to hold up that mirror in the first place. Notice how, little guys, balancing the scales. My spirit guides are saying this is about balancing your information, like where you're taking information from outside in, but also going over your own internal information. You want to balance that. And my spirit guides are saying with him bringing that one coin over to the other side, this is him going and looking inward. They're like little mirrors. This is him really going within in particular. And that's what you want to do today and this week ahead, so that you're more connected to and calibrating regularly your relationship with your inner compass, your true north. Now, the action step of the day, as always, is to head on over to our school app. That's skool.com/BE visionary movement, all as one word. So you're going to go there and join if you haven't yet. We'd love to have you. And type in the search bar, inner critic clearing. It's a 14-minute energy clearing meditation. It's in the energy clearing meditations section of our vault of visualizations there. So we can talk about all of this, about everyone's information and how you got to pierce through the noise and get to what's important for you and yada, 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 science and history and spirit. But all of that is nothing if you don't feel it in your body. And that's the importance of doing a strategic meditation. It brings it all together. And so with this inner critic clearing meditation, you're going to be able to go within and cut through everybody else's version of what you should be doing. Should be doing. We're going to cut through all of that and clear that away so that you have a much more clear and clean inner mirror with which to observe and learn about yourself in. Okay? So that brings us to the end of this week's message. If we've gotten through all of this conversation and you're like, this is awesome, Victoria, I'm not ready for school yet, or I want to be ready for school, I have questions about it, and also I really want to know more about this inner compass stuff and what you do with it, or you have your own questions to ask me, come on over, hop on my calendar. So that's victoriawhitfield.com/contact. You could click it in the description of this video. Hop onto my calendar where it's gonna show you a form to fill out there. And when you put in your information, you'll be able to access, it's called my Calendly calendar, and complimentary half-hour call. Would love to talk to you one-on-one to get you the answers that you seek, see how I can help, or if someone that I know can help. But make sure that you take that next step to reach out and share this with someone, whoever comes up in your mind, right? If you hit that share button, who else needs to connect to their inner compass and find their true north? I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.